According to Edmunds, the share of consumers with new vehicle monthly payments of $1,000 or more is above the 17% mark for the fourth straight quarter. So what's the best way to go about purchasing a car? Well, we got some of those tips and the top considerations. Joseph Yoon, Edmunds Consumer Insight Analyst, joins us now. Worldwide GM sales, average price per sale, average vehicle sale up $3,000 here. Ultimately, as you're thinking through what the best tips are for consumers, where do consumers need to start as they're kind of kicking the tires on that potential vehicle?
I think the first place that consumers really need to think about is the overall cost of the vehicles. Not only have the vehicles gotten way more expensive in the last 5 years, almost to the tune of nearly $10,000, so has the interest rates. We talked about in the last segment about how interest rates for homes are at over 7%. Same goes for new car loans as well, which means that, when you're taking out a loan for maybe $40,000 for a new car, that's almost $10,000 in interest alone. So when you take those things into consideration, it means that you have to pay so much more than you might have the last time around when you were doing car shopping. So you have to be flexible. Maybe your plan A vehicle, maybe your plan B vehicle are no longer in your budget. So looking to be flexible and looking at what you really need as opposed to what you want, I think is a great place to start.
Does this change the type of vehicle that prospective buyers decide to ultimately drive off the lot with?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe a lot of right now, 3-row SUVs for families are very popular. Maybe you don't need that third row anymore. Maybe you don't need to have that luxury car. Maybe you can get a near luxury car. A lot of modern cars these days, especially in popular segments, have a ton of luxurious features. So making those little compromises can definitely help. A
lot of people trying to figure out if an electric vehicle, an EV, is the smart play for them. Where do they need to make sure that they're asking the right questions and considering their own lifestyle with their driving patterns?
I think the biggest thing for potential EV owners is that, do you have reliable charging accessible to you? Whether that's your home or if you have DC fast charging infrastructure nearby, because if you don't have a reliable place to charge, then you can't really get anywhere. And also to think about how many miles you really drive, maybe each month or every week, because that's going to determine how much you need that charging infrastructure to work for you. And so if you don't have those things in place, and if you drive a lot, if you do a lot of road trips, I believe our infrastructure, both locally and federally, isn't quite there yet. So making sure that those things are in place for you, or making sure that it might be a second car instead of a primary vehicle. And I think those are things that you really need to think about before hopping onto the EV train.
Joseph, we heard from GM that prices were basically flat year over year. I wonder what you're seeing in the Edmunds data.
Prices have been flat, and it's mitigated by the fact that discounts are starting to come back into play. But the MSRPs kind of keep climbing, so it's kind of giving us a wash situation. Hopefully, with the current credit environment, it's hard to move vehicles for some manufacturers. So I think they're trying to make sure that customers are coming into dealership doors.
Joseph Yoon, who is the Edmunds Consumer Insights Analyst. Joseph, thanks so much for taking the time here today.
Of course, thank you.